Hey guys, Dark Prometheus here with a new playthrough. This is the Millennium Dawn mod here. Waiting for it to come back. So Millennium Dawn, Millennium Dawn Modern Day mod here. I saw a couple playthroughs going on it. It's around a little late for the 4th of July wise, but I never actually played the Millennium Dawn mod. I don't think. So we're gonna hop into this. We're gonna do a US playthrough starting in 2000, and I think we'll roll until like 2017 until we're satisfied, and then we'll pop into 2017 because I think depending on it, we might see what kind of whack stuff happens. I don't know. Well, I'll kind of have to look. I never looked into the trees, anything like that. I've seen a couple playthroughs that really don't go into those. So the plan is we do a US one, we do a Russia one. I was thinking one, maybe a Japanese one would be cool. Maybe like the UK. And kind of see what we can get into like that. So here's the US. So at this point in 2000, January 2000, Bill Clinton is the president at this point. The election doesn't happen until November of 2000 for this. So we have the Democratic Party in charge here. If you guys didn't know, Bill Clinton towards the end of his presidency actually had a wide margin, I think, in Congress, but we'll kind of look at all of those because there are tons of parties, so they may not be completely shown. We have NATO, small drug cartel, so that's the war on drugs, American militarism, pretty much imperialism, the petrodollar, permanent member of the UNSC. We have political establishment, the First Amendment, Second Amendment. So those kind of help with First Amendment. It's going to hurt us against ideological drift offense. So we can be affected by spies, things like that. It does give us some stability. Second Amendment, it's going to hit our political power, but we get stability and division, attack, and defense in our home territories. Land of the Free, I think this is in the base game, so I don't think it's changed. The Group of Seven, pretty much the G7, we get political power from that. We're obviously nuclear power. And efficient procurement, which is something that really went into the Obama years, and sequestration, which didn't help matters much. So we're going to do historical AI focuses. We want an aggressive world and see what happens. We aren't going to play aggressive for this. Obviously, the things we have looming on the horizon is the war in Afghanistan, the war in Iraq. We'll, of course, do such things as guaranteeing the independence of Taiwan, which wasn't done until technically Trump, until I think that treaty was in 2017 or so. Although the pivot to the Pacific started under Obama around 2011, 2012. So that'll be one thing we'll do. I think that's the main contention there. And we'll kind of just see how Europe develops. So let's pop into this. Kind of explore the mod. When we do a Russia campaign, I think what we're going to do is we're definitely going to probably play historical then. But we're gonna play aggressively historical. All right. So you have our decisions. Tons of decisions. Leasing, okay. I haven't played a Hearts of Iron 4 campaign in at least 2 or 3 years, so. The 2000 report on foreign influence. Okay. China doesn't actually hold a lot of sway. Okay. Here's Congress, 46 in the Senate, 218 is pretty much split. So farm subsidies would give us both. And at this point, I think the government was in about 9. Was it actually 9 billion at this time? Or technically 9 trillion? 8 trillion? I guess that makes sense because it spiked during the Obama years from about 9 trillion to about 18, 20. And then under Trump, it spiked because of Congress and deficit spending and all that stuff. So yeah, that's about right. So it's about 8 billion. So we can't obviously do that. We're not going to leave NATO. Foreign arms markets, national recognition. So obviously we're going to move our embassy to Jerusalem. We're not going to recognize the Taliban. 23 states are, wow, I did not think in 2000 it was 23. I think by the time it was around 2016 there was maybe 13. Okay. Transnistria is the one that's attached to Moldova. So if you don't know, Transnistria here broke away from Moldova about 2000 or so. And obviously this is before the invasions into Ukraine, about the same time though as in 2000 you had this Georgian Civil War going on, but Russia didn't involve themselves until 2008, I think. So those are decisions right now. We're going to start with a small lobbying effort at this point. So let's do that. Intelligence, obviously we're going to create this because we need the CIA, because that's only rational. So you have a bunch of research slots here. So we start with the M16A4, which is a selective fire weapon. M4 being full auto wasn't put in until 2005. The SCAR. The MR24 is kind of isn't what they're transitioning to now. It's the technically what has been dubbed the M5, which is a SIG 7 point, or no, not 7, but a 6.8 millimeter weapon. So Scan Eagle, okay. Okay, so we're obviously going to go Special Forces weapons there. We got to catch up with our tech. Vehicles, we got Labs. Strikers aren't until 2005. It's a Sheridan. So that's the two different Strikers. MRAPs aren't until 2005. We got the Bradley. Hilariously enough, there's not technically a replacement for the Abrams. I think they're the M1A4, maybe M1A2 sub 3, or it's out there, just insane. And in the FFE, this was actually canceled. We got Javelins, Stingers, Never heard the spear gun. Or the fire spear. It's 2005. Okay. Navally, what are we going with? Here's the Zumwalt. Okay, we need to get Corvettes. So we're gonna take cruisers. I think one of the key things during this time was Ticonderoga cruisers. They just don't have anything labeled. Kilos. We're all the way up until 2005. So we have the Apache and the Super Stallion. I've been in a 53 before. Then you got the Apache and the Osprey. I've been in one of those. I never actually saw this, but this was the aircraft that was used in the Osama bin Laden raid. Okay. If you haven't seen that movie, forgot which one it's called, but goes into that. Pretty good movie. Here's a Reaper. It's 15 years ahead. There's Poseidon, the A-10. Okay. It's 2000. So through 3G. Getting them cell phones out. I think we go neural networks. Obviously, we gotta have space. Rods from God. This is from a Call of Duty concept. I forgot where the initial idea came from, but if you want to know kind of what this is, I think it was Call of Duty Ghosts. It had that. You got Elon stuff, Falcon Heavies and Falcon 9s. I knew GPS went all the way back here, but I didn't know it went all the way. Kinetic kill vehicle. So if you don't know, also intermediate ballistic missiles have been actually banned under, I think, SALT. I think it was. Or no, it could be START. The Strategic Arms. Yeah, SALT. The one with the Russia. Get the Slammer. The JASM. We do have a Glick'em. Ah, that's the infantry one because it can't be an actual intermediate ballistic missile. Okay. US doesn't really operate a lot of Glick'ems, but send launchers of missile ships to 16. That might be nice. Okay, surface to air and anti-missile ballistics. There's the pack 3. I think this one is on I don't remember. I think this is Thad. I think. Could be wrong. No, this is Thad. Surface to air. Oh, this is the ship base portion. Okay, SAM sites. Nuclear weapons. Dirty bombs. Neutron bomb. Bunker busters. Thermobaric. EMPs. Okay. Kind of look through that. What I'm going to put for my... For this, do I want tells? That's right, JASM has a reduced profile. I think we're actually gonna go with railway construction. Let's go stuff though. So that'll be what we do there in research. Rubber is what we'll have to do. Here's the standard one. Infantry divisions. This is infantry mechanized. No, this is an armored. This is a mechanized infantry supported by tanks. Mountain. Marine has tank. Okay. Air assault. Artillery, light, air. Okay. Airborne. Soft. And I think this is technically a LAR unit. Like a light reconnaissance. Okay. So what are we lacking on? We have tons of everything besides maybe UAVs. Officer Corps. So what this is kind of is this is like your Joint Chiefs, and this is like the service. The service heads, and then missiles, which is not in there yet. Okay, so we start at Christian, which majority of the country is something like 2/3. We're at stagnation, which means we need to slowly grow this to stable growth. Medium corruption. Wall Street. Okay. Decentralized. Small military. I guess the military spending did ramp up during the Bush eras, obviously. Higher education. This isn't necessarily true. Okay, policies. Consumption. Okay. Volunteer service. Volunteer service for women. Okay. We got global interventionism, aka world police, and officer international education. That's right. We do send officers out away from the U.S. and the U.S. also takes officers as well. Okay. So companies. So Colt. There's ATK. Orbital ATK. Now I think it's called. Raytheon. Lockheed, Boeing, Northrop, Bell, Sikorsky, Ingalls Shipbuilding, General Dynamics, Northrop Grumman again. That's the one at Newport News, though. Okay. So national focus. Let's look at this tree, and this is how big it is. A lot. So you have the Army, you have the Navy, Air Force, littoral combat ships, modern floating, Space Force for the win. Ooh, we can put Space Marines. We of course have to do that. American economy, revitalized industry and regulated markets. Steel. I think this was under Bush and later Obama. Revive Indiana. This one is reviving the steel industry, because if you didn't know, a lot of steel mills went under down in the late 1990s, early 2000s, and by this time they're all, well, by today's standards, they're all bought essentially and up and running. Fortify the military. I don't know much about Prism. So this is two-party system. This is, you can go progressive, libertarians, or America First. This is kind of weird how this is down here, but it's not under this. Here's political revolution, so this is more nationalistic. Militias. So if you didn't know, national protectionism, the protectionism itself is something the U.S. has done since, from an economic standpoint, since probably like the early 1800s. American protectionism is more like a protectionist policy with tariffs and stuff like that. As we go down here, that's banning parties, and this is communist. In Asia, seek proximity to China, which is take the Chinese bit. Or reassure Japan. Of course we will reassure Japan, because Japan is the GOAT. Which will put us to war with China. Diplomacy in Europe. Obviously we're going to strengthen with EU, because that is the entire point of NATO. Bosnia, Serbia, Kosovo, Ukraine, invites Sweden, Finland, Georgia. If you don't know, the Sweden, Finland portion, not much of a big join for NATO, because the EU has Article 51, which functions much like NATO's Article 5. So in the event that happens, I wonder if the game actually has that ability. No, it doesn't, because you can't have dual alliances. So in reality, Europe is in an alliance with itself through the EU defensive alliance, and it's in a technically offensive defensive alliance through NATO. So diplomacy in the Americas, reassure NAFTA. Build the wall with land forts. Land forts, assemble the alliance. This is literally a, we're not. So if you don't know this whole thing, the Guantanamo Bay, it's a base that's been a U.S. base since 1899. Despite the infamy it has with the prison, majority of the base is there to support the Coast Guard for the most part, and helping them patrol and keep the waters around Puerto Rico and Florida. This, we're not gonna go down this way. This is gonna be interesting as well. Okay, so let's look for strengthen the Federal Reserve. I'm looking for research. Is this one of them? Free college. Let's go. Okay, so one is there. Huh, I'm looking. There's the Patriot Act. Okay, well that's not good. There's no research slots. Okay. So obviously Peacekeeper. We don't have IRBMs. SLBMs, obviously we'll do Trident 2s. Outcomes. Just air launch cruise missiles. Glickums. We don't really have Glickums. Submarine launched. We are definitely going to need a bunch of those. Little foresight there. SAMs, obviously we're going to take the pack 3. Okay. Oh, okay. So fleet, obviously we're gonna go with pack 3s. We'll have mid-course missile defense. Space Center. We got 53 GPSs. Jesus. Okay, we're good there. Okay. So that is that whole thing. Let's get this up. Okay. So supply hubs. Okay. I'm looking at this. I'm looking for nukes. Okay. So this is set up. Here's our silos: Montana, Wyoming, Colorado. Okay. Do we have in Kirkland? No, it's like right down here, I think. Is that is that actually Peleliu? It is. Okay, we're of course gonna get this up. It's probably a dumb thing to do, but I do want to spend it on something. So it's a good roundup of what the mod has for this first episode. So this will be like episode 0, which would be like setup and thoughts with it. Okay. Okay. That Humvees, we're gonna go to the ECV. Okay. Okay. So we're gonna go with the Cobras. We're of course gonna go with the Longbows. And the Zulus. Do we have F-15s? We're gonna put, we got F-16s. There's the Strike Eagles. Do we have A-10s? What about the Super Hornets? . The Ohios. The San Antonios. Never been on the San Antonio. I've been on a Wasp. There's a Sea Wolf. There's a Nimitz. We might bring some battleships back. Um, it was 1980s for a spruce. We could do a Ticonderoga, but okay. Let's get the Ticonderoga up. Okay. Okay. Oh, here it is. We need to get out those. I think we do more F-16s, more F-15s. Javelins. Okay. So I think that will be it for this episode. Pretty much episode 0 looking at the mod, pretty much set up that whole thing. In the next one, we will actually get it going. I'm going to reorganize the military how I want to. You'll kind of notice how I'm doing it. But yeah. So that'll be the end of this one. Thank y'all for joining me. Go and leave a like below, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Later.